didn't even bother to go to the Republican convention because I had the nomination in my hat. But the old guard Republicans would not seat my delegates. And so I went to the Republican convention and I said, this convention does not represent the American people. It does not represent the Republican Party. And those of us who were in the progressive end of the party, we all got up and we all left. And we started our own party. And it was called the Bull Moose Party. And I was touring the Midwest with a Dr. Scurry Terrell, who was taking care of my most vital organ, my throat. And he and I were leaving the Gilpatrick Hotel to go to this arena where I was to give a major speech. And outside there was a convertible. I got in the convertible and there was a crowd that had gathered around. And I stood up and I tipped my hat to the crowd, recognizing them. And a former saloon keeper by the name of John Schrank stepped forward and shot me. Hit me right in the chest. Felt like a horse had just kicked me. I fell back into the arms of Dr. Terrell. And when he saw the hole in my coat and the blood oozing out, he told the driver to take us to the nearest hospital. And I said, no. This may be the last speech that I ever give, but I'm going to give this speech. And they took me to the hall where I was to talk, and I had to change my shoes because they were full of blood. And the person who was to introduce me got up on the platform and he said to the audience, he said, Theodore Roosevelt is here. He's going to speak to you, but I don't know for how long because he's been shot. And I got up, and nobody believed him. So I got up on the platform and I took out my metal eyeglass case that I'd been carrying in my coat, and I showed them the hole that the bullet had made when it passed through. And then I took out my notes. I had 50 pages of notes, and I showed them the hole that the bullet had made when it passed through. And I said to the audience, it takes more than one bullet to kill a bull moose. And I spoke to them for an hour and a half. Then they took me to the hospital. They had Edison's x-ray machine take some x-rays, and they found that the bullet was within a half an inch of my right lung. They were afraid to operate for fear of damaging my lung in the operation. So I carry that bullet with me still.